It's the KX Food Pantry Food Drive. We'll take a look at numbers to get a sense of how big an issue hunger is in western North Dakota. Plus, we'll visit with pantries across our viewing area, including the heart of the Bakken, to find out what needs pantries have. And we'll also visit crisis centers in our region. Drive. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Gerhardt, and thanks for staying with us here tonight all across the KX network. In an effort to raise awareness to the issue of hunger in North Dakota, we at KX decided to hold a food drive. Now, the goal is to stock as many food pantries in our area for the Christmas season and beyond. During the next half hour, we'll have reports from food pantries across western and central North Dakota. But first, let's take a look at some numbers. In North Dakota, about 1 in 12 people struggle with hunger. There are over 54,000 people without enough food in North Dakota. That's roughly equivalent to the size of the city of Grand Forks. And in 2013, about 35,300 of North Dakota's households at some point during the year did not have enough food for a healthy and active lifestyle. And more than 13,000 people in Burleigh County rely on food pantries to meet their nutritional requirements. For the past 2 weeks, we've asked for your help in filling pantries and shared dozens of stories from over a dozen communities in our viewing area. Now, you can find a list of participating food pantries on our website, kxnet.com. It's about in the middle of our home page, and you'll see that food pantry logo. Just click there. Make sure you call ahead before you drop off your non-perishable items to donate. Our website also provides a link to donate cash. While our 2-week push for donations ends tonight, we still encourage you to continue to donate in the upcoming days and months. Well, hunger is a real and serious problem in our state. With your help, KX hopes to put food on the table for many struggling families this holiday season. Sarah Heinrich sits down with the executive director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way to discuss the hunger problem growing throughout western North Dakota.
We've tackled a lot of community issues, and hunger is one of them, and one of the most important ones. Without food, kids can't concentrate in school. Kids aren't going to be well behaved. If you're worrying about your next meal on the table, how are you studying for your test on Monday morning?
And you see that a lot. And we were just visiting a little bit about how much it's grown in western North Dakota, how many people are actually living below the poverty line and living without food.
In western North Dakota, we have 1 in 10 people who are living below the poverty level. That equates to 31,000 people just in western North Dakota alone. It's hard for us to imagine that with such a low unemployment rate that people are struggling, but the rents have gone up so much. It's getting cold outside, and so utility bills are increasing. So what can we be doing to help people who currently have housing be able to make ends meet?
The Bismarck United Way also collaborates with Minot and Williston and Dickinson, and you said that you help them on a variety of issues. And so do you see hunger and food issues being a bigger problem in the Bismarck area, or do you see it kind of just throughout every United Way chapter?
It's interesting because homelessness in North Dakota, throughout all of North Dakota, 2 years ago increased by 200%. Then last year we saw a decrease by 40%. So things across the state are looking up, but yet we still have large numbers, tens of thousands of people in western North Dakota alone that are going hungry every day. Actually, 21,000 people in western North Dakota have needed assistance from a local food pantry or soup kitchen.
We will highlight a number of food pantries in a moment, but there are a number of agencies and programs that also take donations to help those in need. Sister Kathleen Atkinson started a program about 2 years ago to help those who fall through the cracks in times of transition. And she joins me now live in studio to tell us about Ministry on the Margins. First of all, thanks for taking time to be here tonight, Sister Kathleen.
Thank you for the invitation, Tom.
Tell me first off about your vision. What got you started a couple of years back? And you said I should mention that the food pantry is only about a year in the making, too.
The food pantry is only in the year in the making because we learned from the people that we serve that it was a need. And that's Ministry on the Margins helps people who fall through the cracks. I have family, you have family, but there's so many people who don't have someone to help them in that transition period. It may be a transition from prison, re-entering into society and trying to reestablish their life. It may be a transition coming into the Bismarck area and working. Takes 2 weeks to get a paycheck. How do you feed your family before you get that first paycheck? So that is how Ministry on the Margins started. We followed up one day talking to people about food pantry, and many said, you know, I'm unable to access the pantry because I work, which is a good thing. So we opened a food pantry in the evening. And that little niche, again, helps supply and catch people in their transitions.
Well, you're in Bismarck, we should mention that, but
Yes.
how can we help?
Ministry on the Margins is totally donor-based and volunteer-based. So volunteers are essential, and we have volunteers who help us as mentors, volunteers who help in the food pantry, volunteers who help create a coffee house type experience for those who come to the food pantry. So that is important. Also, always food and perishables. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, the non-perishables.
Non-perishables, right, yeah. Yeah, well, Sister Kathleen, thank you for your work. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. And if you're at home, we can tell you Ministry on the Margins is at 115 North 2nd Street in Bismarck. And again, you can find a link with a phone number for more information on our website. Well, here's a number that speaks to the problem we're talking about tonight. Earlier this fall, folks at the Bismarck Food Pantry told us their shelves were the emptiest they'd been since 1977. Reporter Karina Capabianca and photojournalist Thomas Palaniuk take us there for the story.
Year after year, the Bismarck Emergency Food Pantry has served the area's hungry, and volunteers say the need is only growing.
Definitely needs have increased in the community, I would say. We have increased our giving, and the donations have also increased.
This year, the pantry has helped more than 1,500 families, reaching more than 4,000 people.
It's amazing how little some people actually have and what they are able to get along without.
The pantry receives no government funding, but has managed to give out more than $100,000 worth of food this year. It receives most of its donations from local churches and businesses.
This year we have had just such an outpouring of donations. We're getting a little full here.
Unlike many other food pantries in the area, this pantry is meant to help those in an emergency situation.
We feel like if we can help them tie over until they get a job or more money to be able to buy their own food. That's what we're hoping, so they don't go hungry in between.
Volunteers say now is one of the busiest times of the year.
Lots of people probably wouldn't have the food available for them, especially at the holidays. So it's great that we can do this, and it's so great that people are so generous.
But they say it's important to remember that the need continues throughout the year. Karina Capabianca, KX News.
The Bismarck Emergency Food Pantry is open Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. In addition to food donations, the pantry also accepts monetary donations. Well, as we mentioned, there are a wide variety of food pantries across our KX viewing area. Now, reporter Jennifer Kleen takes us to Minot, where the Domestic Violence Crisis Center is going the extra mile for their clients.
Two defining characteristics of the holidays are food and family. The food pantry at Minot Domestic Violence Crisis Center has a bigger family than average.
They can call us 24/7. We will always be available to them, no matter where they're calling from or how long it's been.
That means whether living on campus, active in group meetings, or a client from long ago, all who enter the DVCC are family. That does put extra pressure on the campus food pantry. In addition to daily meals for short-term residents, the pantry provides 50 to 55 food baskets for current and past clients in need.
The biggest push is at Christmas time.
Monetary donations to support the Minot Domestic Violence Crisis Center can be made at courageforchange.org. Griffey says the needs have increased at the Domestic Violence Crisis Center.
I would say our numbers run anywhere between 20-30 consistently.
Numbers that just 5 years ago were closer to 5 to 10 domestic violence and sexual assault cases.
Some of these families that come in here have probably not seen a Christmas in a long time, or it hasn't really been a good Christmas for them. Just to see the joy on their face and the tears, it's very well worth what we do.
Family can go a long way during the holidays, especially with a little help from the food pantry at the Domestic Violence Crisis Center. In Minot, Jennifer Kleen, KX News.
And again, to find out how you can help, you can call 701-852-2258. Over 2 dozen food pantries have joined us in our first of what we hope are annual food drives in the future. One pantry serves an area southwest of Bismarck. Reporter Karina Capabianca joins us live with details on the Carson Food Pantry in Grant County.
The director of the Carson Food Pantry for more than 20 years. Barbara, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for allowing me to be with you.
So you've been the director here for, 2 decades. How have the needs changed over the years?
We've had some drastic changes. When I started with this, we've had like 16, 17 households in a handout, and now we sometimes get into the 60 bracket.
Wow, and so you're in kind of, a more rural location. How does that affect your donations?
Well, we do sometimes struggle a little bit to keep the flow going, but we have very good organizations in our local area that help us out. And we have 4-H groups right now that are on food drives. And we have individuals that will financially help us in their local area. And we also get funds through United Way to get some FEMA money.
And so, is there a busiest time of year for you, or is it kind of just year-round?
It's a year-round. There's really no specific season that would be any busier than others.
And so what are some of, your biggest needs this time of year?
This time of the year with the Christmas season, sometimes we do need some healthcare items and some funds, because we like to put a Christmas basket together for certain families that don't use the pantry during the year, but they do like to have this one. So we like to throw special things in for that.
All right, and so, if people at home watching would like to donate, how can they do that?
They can get in touch with me, or if there's financial help, they can go directly to the bank and make the deposit themselves.
All right, well, Barbara, thank you so much for joining us. Tom, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Karina Capabianca reporting live from Carson, North Dakota in Grant County. That number to the Carson Food Pantry, if you'd like to contact them, 622-3256. Well, there's a lot of need to stock pantries in the heart of oil country. Jim Olson traveled to Watford City and has more from the McKenzie County Food Pantry.
I've seen tremendous growth, tremendous need, and just nothing but more and more and more help needed.
We have seen the numbers expand big time, especially within this last month. It started out, we were averaging between 30 to 45 families, and now we're up seeing 50 to 60.
Kay O'Connor and Marcia Helensauce know firsthand how demand has risen in the Watford City area. They've seen the number of hungry families rise over the past few years. The good news is there's also been an increase in donations.
Absolutely, that part has grown just as much too, yes.
We have businesses that sometimes have a food drive. Mm-hmm. We have single people donate checks any amount they want. Mm-hmm. And we also have farmers in the community that do produce, and they donate that way.
It all adds up, and yet there are still empty spots on the shelves and a relentless need for more food, personal care items, and cash.
I think people have a harder time during the holidays because of the gift giving that goes on, and it's just really hard because rent is high, food is high, all of that, and it just feels great to be able to help people with their basic food needs.
If you can help the people of the Watford City area through the McKenzie County Food Bank, contact the McKenzie County Extension Office at 444-3451 and talk to Marcia. Jim Olson, KX News.
Growth in Williston the past several years has provided a big challenge for those trying to lend a helping hand. Jim Olson was also in Williston and visits with folks at the Salvation Army to see how they're trying to keep up with demand.
People ask us all the time if people are still coming to Williston looking for work and looking for help, and the real answer is nothing is slowing down. We continue every day. Even today I've talked to I think 3 people who just arrived to Williston within the past couple of days, looking to make a life for themselves here with no resources, no place to stay.
And it's up to the people running this food pantry at the Salvation Army in Williston to provide that help.
Over the last 3 years that my wife have been here, we've quadrupled in our social services that we provide, and so that includes food pantry, pharmacy visits, utilities, rent, those type of things.
Captain Joshua Stansberry is in charge of the Salvation Army's efforts here, including helping the needy get food on their tables. He says it's heartening that as the demand has doubled and then doubled again, the supply has grown as well.
You know, the community responds really well. There are some things that we're low on, such as like pasta, rice, canned fruit, juices, those type of things. Typically, you know, when we get really low, we can do an article in the paper or reach out to some community members, and we get donations.
We live in a really generous community, and it's always really touching to see people wanting to get involved to help others. And a lot of times it's just a matter of helping to get word out of what our actual needs are, and then people are very gracious to respond to those needs.
This community responds really well to the needs of the Salvation Army here in the community, including the food needs, and so it's been a blessing to see them when we cry out for help to respond with the way that they do.
The best way to make those donations is to call down here to our Worship and Service Center. The phone number is 701-572-2921, and we can make arrangements for the best time to drop off those donations. If there's a group looking to do a big collection drive, we can help with posters, with boxes, any materials that they need for their collection.
You can help by making the call to 701-572-2921. At the Salvation Army Food Pantry in Williston, Jim Olson, KX News.
You may have just seen the hashtag KX Cares on your screen or throughout this show. We're certainly grateful for the amount of help that we've received spreading the word about our KX Cares food drive. Amber Schatz joins us live in studio with more on some of these celebrities. Amber?
That's right, Tom. Social media has been so helpful for getting the word out and getting people connected to the KX Cares food drive. We had a great turnout from some very well-known people. This man, certainly one of those. Probably the most well-known actor to come out of Minot, North Dakota, Josh Duhamel, getting in on the hashtag KX Cares action. So that certainly helped raise a lot of awareness and get people connected. Along with Mr. Duhamel, we had some other local celebrities who joined in. Gwen Sebastian, originally from Hebron, she sings backup for Blake Shelton. She's a very well-known country singer. She got in on the action, also sharing her KX Cares and wearing her t-shirt, going out to her viewers. And on the political note, we had Senator Heidi Heitkamp joining in. There's her picture right there. So it's great that on both sides of the aisle, everyone's supporting the fact of filling up local food pantries, certainly. Tiger Lily, the singing sensation from Hazen, the two sisters, sharing this picture with all of their viewers and helping get the word out on social media. Representative Kevin Kramer sending in this, it almost looks like a selfie, I think, with the Capitol in the background and his KX Cares shirt. Looks like it might have been a chilly night, so we certainly thank him as well for sending in his picture. And last but not least, Lieutenant Governor Drew Wrigley getting in on the action. So we thank everyone for helping get the word out and raise awareness about KX Cares and hopefully raising awareness about the need in our area, Tom.
Yeah, it's cool to have a little bit of fun with it as well, Amber. And just to mention, for those of you out there. If you do make a donation, you may see some of those KX Care signs out at the pantries, and we invite you to take a photo and send it to us on our Facebook page, either in Bismarck or Minot, or on our Twitter accounts as well, and it just may show up on air someplace in the near future. All right, thanks a lot, Amber, for that report, and thanks to all of you who have helped us spread the word. It's a place where volunteers make a big difference. Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe in Bismarck has fed as many as 200 people in one day. Reporter Ben Smith joins us to find out more about its mission.
Thanks, Tom. I'm here with Mark Meyer, who is the owner of Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe in Bismarck, and Mark's going to tell us a little bit about what homeless people can face here in Bismarck.
Well, homeless people, they can face a real uphill battle, especially with the affordable housing. You know, a lot of people might even have some rent to pay, but they can't find it affordable enough. So they end up staying in their vehicles, staying with friends, and in the homeless shelter.
So what do you guys help them out with?
We help them out with food. We offer 2 soups a day and a couple sandwiches a day, all day long, safe place to come. And most importantly is spiritual guidance, where we can pray with them, we can minister to them, and we have Bible studies throughout the week for everybody who would like to come, but we also have the ability to sit down and counsel with people and that sort of thing.
Tell me a little bit more about the spiritual guidance that you provide them.
Well, our motto is DWJD, which means do what Jesus did. And so we believe in showing them the love of Jesus, and we just try to show them the love of Christ every time and offer them hope when they may not feel that there's hope, especially around this time of the year.
I've heard there's something special about your soups. Do you ever use a recipe?
We don't. We use whatever the Lord provides.
Well, that's all I had for here at Heaven's Helpers Soup Cafe. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. And the number to Heaven's Helpers is 226-2325. Whether they live in a bustling town like Williston or Minot, or a smaller community like Crosby, people who can't afford proper nutrition share a common need: food. And we've reached out to all sizes of pantries in towns large and small. Now a trip to Crosby in northwestern North Dakota to see how the needs of the hungry are being met there.
It's a big day at the Divide County Food Pantry each month when the Great Plains Food Bank semi unloads.
Okay.
It's a day when volunteers show up to help get the goods from the curb downstairs to the pantry's headquarters at the Concordia Lutheran Church.
Vegetable oil.
And it's when the pantry's shelves get restocked to meet the needs of many people in the region.
We have our steady flow of clients that come, less in the summer, but then they're not probably paying heat bills or whatever, and more in the winter.
Karen Sparks says while the food from Great Plains is great, they still need food and monetary donations each month to make ends meet.
We get a lot of donations from people. We have a very caring community, and at December, we also have our elementary school. Instead of doing gifts for each other, they have like contests on food products.
The result is that these sometimes empty shelves fill up so that the monthly food distribution day is successful.
Well, we're lucky enough that Julie Unjum is our treasurer, and she's also the secretary here at Concordia. So a lot of them know that, and they can just drop off whatever. We have a lot of organizations that will drop off their money and stuff.
If you can donate food or time or funds, contact Julie at Concordia Lutheran Church in Crosby, or just bring the food to the church. In Crosby, Jim Olson, KX News.
Well, not all of the food pantries we're highlighting are in western North Dakota. Jennifer Kleen now takes us to Rugby, where the Pierce County Food Pantry is preparing for the season.
Pierce County is growing more gradually than parts further west, while a population-based burden has not yet hit at the Pierce County Food Pantry in Rugby. The seasonal demand never goes away.
We get a few more people in the wintertime than we do in the summer because there are seasonal workers.
The most recent count is at 60 families.
Some people come every month and some just occasionally.
The Pierce County Food Pantry will be filling and delivering about 125 Christmas baskets this year.
We do a turkey and pie and fresh fruit and vegetables, and we do this with the help of volunteers from the city.
There is still time to help. Monetary donations to fill the Christmas baskets at the Pierce County Food Pantry can be sent to 203 Southwest 4th Street in Rugby or stop by Merchants Bank downtown. Volunteers are always welcome. Pierce County will be filling Christmas baskets on December 20th, starting at 9 a.m. Degenstein expects 20 to 30 volunteers that Saturday, and after 30 years of managing the food pantry,
You get a passion for something and you keep at it.
the Degensteins are seasoned veterans, ready for another holiday season at the Pierce County Food Pantry. In Rugby, Jennifer Kleen, KX News.
And we'll make one last stop back in the capital city in Bismarck. We heard from the Salvation Army in Williston. Earlier this week, reporter Sarah Heinrich talked with the Salvation Army Food Pantry folks in Bismarck.
It happens every day. Families in need come and help themselves to what Salvation Army has to give. But right now is one of the busiest times.
Holidays are because kids are home from school, and then you have the end of the month, and maybe a little bit more attention was paid to the holidays rather than, you know, the budgeting of the food throughout the month.
Each day, 80 to 120 families will get their perishable foods here at the Salvation Army.
We see families, some families every day, some families once a week, just getting what they need when they need it.
If you're wondering what to donate, Captain Sell says meals like Hamburger Helper and mac and cheese are always in need.
They're all-in-one dinner, but they need meat added to it. That we really can use a lot more of that.
And if you're wondering if you should donate at all, think about this.
Think of the hungriest time in your life. Think how long it lasted, and figure that someone else is probably like that a whole lot longer than you.
In Bismarck for KX News, I'm Sarah Heinrich.
And again, if you'd like to find a list of donations, food pantries, you can go to kxnet.com, look for our food pantry logo, find a place to donate goods or money. Well, thanks for joining us tonight across the KX network, and please consider donating to a food pantry near you. Again, information on kxnet.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.